Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the board. My name is Alyssa Silva, and I am the Vice Principal at Franklin Middle School at Sampson G. Smith campus. Thank you for coming out tonight to discuss my action research project. How do we know students are learning? Reflections of formative assessment in the mathematics classroom. During the presentation, I will address the following: area of focus of the research, significance of the research, literature surrounding the research methodology, next steps, potential problems, predictions, and then I will open up the floor for questions. Here are some demographics about our school. We educate approximately 798 students. The student population at SGS consists of 12% of students with disabilities and about 10% English learners. As you can see from the chart below, our school fell below the state in regards to students that met or exceeded state guidelines on the statewide assessment in math. This is one of the reasons I decided to conduct an action research project on the use of formative assessments in math classrooms. My intent for this project was to utilize the PAR process as stated in Participatory Action Research for Educational Leadership to increase student learning and improve teaching practices in the classroom. Navigating through the first step, diagnose, I was able to identify a primary focus, formative assessment. Since 41.2% of students met or exceeded expectations on the statewide assessments in mathematics, our goal as a school is to close the deficit by 2% during the 2020-2021 school year. To help meet this goal, I decided to focus my action research on formative assessment. Researchers agree that the consistent use of various types of formative assessment can be highly advantageous to student achievement. Also, by choosing this area of focus, will not only improve student learning, but will also be valuable to the math teachers in the building. The following needs to have been consistently identified by administrators and the school improvement committee: lesson adjustments according to student need, formative assessment feedback, and checks for understanding. This slide highlights the importance of formative assessment and also shows the difference between formative assessment and summative assessment. Formative assessment is a process of gathering evidence within the stream of instruction in order to inform teaching and learning. To be considered formative, the evidence must be elicited, interpreted, and used by both teachers and learner. The following research questions provided productive ways to approach this study. What formative assessment strategies are currently being used in middle school math classrooms? To what extent is formative assessment being utilized to provide students with immediate feedback? Do teachers believe their use of formative assessment in their classroom leads to better student learning? After researching this topic, I found a great deal of information about formative assessment and how it can be utilized in a math classroom. The greatest misconception the teachers have regarding formative assessment is that it is not an assessment, but it is actually a planned process in which assessment elicited evidence of student status is used by teachers to adjust their ongoing instructional procedures or by students to adjust their current learning tactics. Formative assessment is any assessment task designed to promote students' learning. These tasks give both teachers and students feedback so that teaching and learning activities can be altered according to the results. While researching, I also found the following benefits of formative assessment. Formative assessment produces greater increases in student achievement and is cheaper than other efforts to boost achievement, including reducing class sizes and increasing teachers' content knowledge. Formative assessment that occurs within and between instructional units as well as within and between lessons has been shown to improve students' achievement. Teachers reported greater professional satisfaction and increased student engagement in learning when utilizing formative assessment. Here is a quote that I would like you to think about. The student's thinking and reasoning must be overt and visible during instruction, so appropriate, timely feedback can be provided. Because monitoring through testing is already occurring in abundance, then we hold forth that assessment of students' thinking during instruction, classroom formative assessment, is the missing ingredient to learning success as well as the launch for mathematical rigor. A combination of both quantitative and qualitative methods were used to collect data and analyze research for this project. According to James et al., the utilization of both qualitative and quantitative methodology includes a set of practices for data collection and analysis that have been proven over time. To collect data, I conducted surveys using Google Forms, and I also conducted phone interviews with teachers. I had also planned to use but was unable to conduct instructional rounds to collect teacher and student evidence of formative assessments occurring in the classroom. The following are some of the themes from the teacher surveys. Teachers agree that formative assessment is more valuable than summative assessment. Most teachers believe they currently use formative assessment on a regular basis. The majority of teachers do not feel the district provides adequate professional development on formative assessment. Almost all teachers believe they use constructive and immediate feedback. The following are some of the themes from the teacher interviews. The majority of teachers understood formative assessment is ongoing and used to drive instruction. All teachers stated they consistently use formative assessments in their classroom. All teachers agree formative assessments benefit student achievement through the use of differentiation, monitoring student understanding, adjusting lessons accordingly, and identifying areas of focus. Most teachers feel that they provide students with immediate instructional feedback on a daily basis. The majority of teachers interviewed stated that our district does not provide adequate and quality professional development on formative assessment. Most teachers stated that instructional rounds are beneficial to teachers. However, they feel it should be non-judgmental and run by the teachers and not the administration. According to James et al., combining research and reflection allows educators to understand their topics and the systematic mechanisms that position them to create substantial change. My plan for the next cycle of action research is to conduct instructional rounds and collect initial data, then provide math teachers with professional development about formative assessment, and about 6 weeks later conduct another cycle of instructional rounds. The instructional rounds will focus on formative assessment and identifying evidence of both teacher and student use. By providing teachers with professional development based on strategies provided by the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, we hope to improve formative assessment strategies and usage of immediate feedback in math classrooms in our school. To implement the next steps for this action research project, initial instructional rounds will be conducted in September. Teachers will gather data about the types of formative assessments they see in their colleagues' classrooms. Data will be shared out at the department meeting. In October, formative assessment professional development will be provided to all math teachers. The second cycle of instructional rounds will occur 6 to 8 weeks after professional development. This will allow teachers to take what they learned from PD and give them enough time to implement new strategies in their classroom. Data from the second cycle of instructional rounds will be shared with teachers and will also be analyzed to see if there has been an increase in the use of performative assessment and if the types of assessment we are using as a department have changed. During the middle of the year, I will ask teachers to complete a survey. Data from the second benchmark and the survey will determine if we conduct a third cycle of instructional rounds focusing on formative assessment. In order for the next steps of this action research cycle to occur, we need teacher participation. Some teachers are initially hesitant because they feel as if they are being judged as if it were a scored observation. The purpose of instructional rounds is to learn from one another and collect data to help us improve upon teaching and learning. I am making it clear to teachers that this will be run by teachers and one administrator. Everything observed is going to be used for learning purposes, and all data collected and observations will be presented in a positive and non-critical way. Teachers that do participate will earn a duty-free period to be used whenever they'd like, with approval, of course. Research stresses that the use of formative assessment has proven to improve student achievement, and some reports suggest achievement being 4 to 5 times greater than the effect of reducing class size. Based on research and the willingness of our teachers to go above and beyond, I predict the use of formative assessment and immediate feedback will increase in math classrooms after instructional round cycle 1 and professional development. I also think that due to our work in meeting the students' needs, their assessment scores on benchmark 2 will increase from benchmark 1. Thank you. I look forward to sharing the result of the next cycle of research with you. Are there any questions?